like to make the motion to adjourn the meeting.
We here to handle the business, not let the business handle us. That's what we are elected to do, sir. So please.
It's her fault. It's her problem, her responsibility, and she failed. She's failed everything.
If you thought small-town politics couldn't be riveting, think again. The latest drama out of Dalton, Illinois has it all. Unpaid rent, accusations of misusing taxpayer funds, and even whispers of arrests. Township meetings have become less about governance and more about Tiffany Henyard, the self-proclaimed super mayor, stealing the spotlight. This small Chicago suburbs political scene is spiraling into chaos, with Henyard at the center of a saga that grows wilder by the hour. Illinois never ceases to amaze.
In South suburban Dalton today, first, the state comptroller has suspended some payments to the village because it has failed to follow the law by providing financial reports.
Tiffany Henyard, elected mayor of Dalton in 2021, has become one of the most polarizing figures in local politics. She's accused of lavish spending with taxpayer dollars, using the police as her personal security detail, and now faces eviction from her own home for unpaid rent. Yes, you read that correctly. Despite earning nearly $300,000 annually from her roles as mayor and town supervisor, Henyard has reportedly not paid rent to her landlord, Janetta Hall, since August. Hall, once considered a friend, is now filing eviction papers after Henyard and her boyfriend, Kamel Woods, allegedly stopped making payments on their Dalton residence.
In Thornton Township, the board and citizens looking for accountability to their finances while the township supervisor.
Henyard's leadership style resembles that of a reality TV villain more than a public servant. Among the many controversies swirling around her is the ongoing dispute with her landlord, Janetta Hall. According to Hall, Henyard and her partner owe thousands in unpaid rent and even had the audacity to change the house's locks and garage code to keep her out. Hall, who now faces the risk of foreclosure on the property, is understandably furious. She insists that this situation has put her in a dire position and wants Henyard and her partner out of her home for good. At this point, it's about more than just the money. Can anyone blame her?
Motion to terminate Keith Free.
Henyard is also embroiled in a bitter feud with the Dalton trustees, who have accused her of a laundry list of offenses, including falsifying checks and concealing financial documents. Meanwhile, tensions in the political arena continue to flare. During a recent 90-minute Facebook livestream, Henyard declared she would seek the arrests of her political adversaries, though she didn't specify what crimes they were alleged to have committed. The clash between Henyard and the trustees has reached a boiling point, with both sides leveling accusations of corruption and misconduct. The trustees have even filed a lawsuit against her, further deepening the rift. That's just a small piece of the story, Henyard proclaimed during her live stream, brimming with the drama of someone who has binge-watched too many legal thrillers. Indeed, it's a lot.
But it's just something we felt important that had to be done, that should be done. So, but like I said, yeah, just some accountability.
The irony in this situation is almost too rich to ignore. Henyard, who earlier this year was exposed for spending tens of thousands of taxpayer dollars on first-class flights, luxury hotels, and fine dining in cities like New York and Atlanta, is now accusing her opponents of corruption. Currently under federal investigation for her own lavish spending and misuse of public funds, Henyard's actions paint a troubling picture. In one particularly shocking instance, reports revealed she spent a staggering $43,000 on Amazon in a single day, hardly the cost of routine office supplies for the village. Instead, it appears more like a personal shopping spree funded by taxpayers. Henyard's spending even caught the attention of former Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot, who was brought in to review Dalton's finances. The findings were startling. Under Henyard's leadership, Dalton's general fund balance plummeted from $5.61 million in 2022 to a $3.65 million deficit by May 2024, a staggering $9 million swing in less than 2 years.
disappointment. That's what the trustees I talked to are calling this. They say the news took them by surprise, and now they're talking to legal counsel to figure out their next.
The village of Dolton has been left in dire straits, reeling from Henyard's spending spree, which has not only tarnished the town's reputation, but also left local businesses struggling to survive. In one particularly shocking revelation, it was discovered that at least 589 checks totaling over $6 million were printed but never sent to vendors, leaving them unpaid and essential services in disarray. Federal authorities are reportedly digging deeper into Dolton's finances, signaling that these issues won't be resolved anytime soon. Henyard's critics have seized on these revelations, pointing to them as proof that she prioritizes her personal lifestyle over the needs of the community she was elected to serve. One exchange captured the absurdity of the situation. "You're not paying the vendor? What was it for?" someone asked. The response? "It was for shirts." Yet, despite Dolton's worsening financial crisis, Henyard shows no signs of regret. Instead, she has doubled down on her self-styled image as the town's savior. During a fiery Facebook live stream, she accused her detractors of jealousy and promised to reveal the whole truth at a later time, a claim that sounded more like a soap opera cliffhanger than a political strategy. She also implied her opponents were using their accusations to distract from their own alleged corruption, asking, "Why do we have all this attention on Tiffany Henyard?" Meanwhile, Dolton residents are left wondering how their town ended up with a mayor who seems more focused on playing the victim than addressing the village's pressing issues, such as water main breaks, unpaid vendors, and an overworked police force stretched thin because officers are busy acting as Henyard's personal bodyguards. Despite all this, Henyard insists that everything she does is for the people, as though her extravagant spending somehow serves the community.
You guys are not paying whatever that vendor is.
What was it for?
It was for shirts. That's what it's for.
One particularly shocking investigation revealed that village credit cards were used for everything from lavish furniture purchases to travel expenses for taxpayer-funded trips to Las Vegas. Adding to the controversy, a billboard campaign featuring Henyard's face plastered across town gave the impression that Dolton was her personal fiefdom, free for her to exploit as she pleased. Perhaps most egregious was an $85,000 party she hosted, featuring rapper Jay Holiday and R&B singer Kiki Wyatt, all while the town's finances were spiraling into chaos. Such extravagance has left many residents and observers questioning how things were allowed to get so out of control.
Absolutely not guilty of all 9 counts. I believe he's cooperating. And if you cooperate, you have to admit you're...
As if things couldn't get any stranger, the most recent meeting in Henyard's township descended into chaos, resembling a live-action dumpster fire. Intended to address essential township business, the meeting instead turned into a spectacle as Henyard clashed with the trustees. At one point, she barred Trustee Corot from participating via phone, citing safety concerns as the reason for Corot's physical absence. However, Henyard dismissed these concerns with petty snobbery, refusing to allow virtual attendance and further fueling the dysfunction that has come to define these gatherings.
One day purchase of over $40,000 to Amazon. And the main thing is,
when it came time to approve the meeting minutes, Henyard's behavior took a decidedly authoritarian turn. She attempted to bulldoze through the proceedings without allowing for any discussion, even going so far as to second her own motion when no one else would. A blatant violation of parliamentary procedure. As the meeting spiraled further into disarray, Henyard's focus appeared more on grandstanding than on governance. Trustee Chris Gonzalez eventually had enough and left the meeting, prompting Henyard to spin the narrative to suit her agenda. She accused Gonzalez of neglecting his duties and being unwilling to manage the people's business, conveniently omitting that her own actions had caused the meeting's collapse. Understandably, Dolton residents are growing increasingly frustrated with Henyard's antics. One commenter on a YouTube video of the meeting summed up the sentiment. "Arrest this clown already." Another declared, "She is the worst enemy of the residents by far. Despite the mounting criticism, Henyard recently announced her bid for re-election as mayor, doing so in typical fashion via Facebook with a confident declaration, "I am running for re-election as mayor of Dolton." Her announcement has drawn sharp backlash, as many view her tenure as a saga of scandal and mismanagement. While political opponents, including the well-regarded Jason House, are rallying to challenge her in the upcoming election, Henyard seems determined to hold on to power. Her tenure has been marred by accusations of corruption, financial mismanagement, and abuse of power, with the FBI reportedly investigating her spending. Yet, Henyard appears unfazed, pushing forward with her re-election bid despite financial records indicating she hasn't raised much campaign funding. The saga of Tiffany Henyard serves as a cautionary tale of what can happen when public office is treated like a personal playground. Whether Henyard will survive the growing scandals, or if this marks the beginning of her political downfall, remains to be seen. One thing is certain, the people of Dolton deserve better leadership, and the next election may give them the opportunity to demand it. What do you think? Will Tiffany Henyard retain her position despite the controversies, or is her time as Dolton's supermayor coming to an end? Share your thoughts below, and if you believe it's time for a change in Dolton, don't forget to like this post. Her rise may have been swift, but if she falls, it's bound to be a spectacle.